Grand Rising. Just going live on Instagram. What's up? Going live on Instagram. This is being recorded to be posted on YouTube. We're going to be going over the astrology of the week ahead. Let me just wait for some people to come in on Instagram, and we're going to dive right in. Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Happy Moon Day. We are moving through our full moon in Cancer cycle. We just had our full moon in Cancer a few days ago. Oh, Cancer energy. Hello, welcome. We're going to be talking about the astrology of the week ahead. Thank you guys for being here. Let me pull up the chart right now. Let me see what's going on. So we're starting at 10 a.m. on January 5th of 2026. I'm currently in Los Angeles, California. I'm gonna be here for a few more weeks because there's a few people that I gotta hang out with and see, and people who've been wanting to see me and things. So I'm gonna be here. And look, the rising is in Pisces, right? Like on my ascendant. So crazy. So Pisces is on the ascendant right now. 10 degrees of Pisces. My rising's at 13 degrees Pisces. So it's funny how I decided to start this at 10 a.m. today. Thank you guys for being here. I hope then your new year and your holiday season has been full of fun, full of healing, full of family and friends, full of connection, full of whatever you need. I hope you've been giving yourself time to rest and recuperate and to reflect on the end of 2025. We are now 5 days into 2026. Yeah, it's been sad. This has been a sad one. And for the past three lives, ever since Capricorn season started, the full moon in Cancer, I mentioned it, and I also talked about it with the week ahead at Astro last week, and I think the week prior to that. I was talking about how this Capricorn, Aquarius, and Pisces season is going to be sad. There's gonna be a lot of endings, a lot of closure, a lot of release, a lot of people, karmically ending chapters in their life, different chapters. So it really depends on where it's at, how it shows up in your chart. But this can actually be about, grief and sadness and mourning, right? And loss and things like this. People grieving loved ones that have passed or things like that, but also like leaving jobs. That's been another big one, another big theme that we've been seeing. Welcome everybody coming in. I'm just talking about someone just in the chat said that they've been feeling a little sad, and I'm like, yeah, well, that makes sense because um Saturn's wrapping up in Pisces, and Saturn is the dispositor for Capricorn Aquarius season. So Capricorn Aquarius are ruled by planet Saturn. So when the sun is transiting the sign of Capricorn Aquarius, he's looking to Saturn for instruction, or he's pulling energy from Saturn, wherever Saturn's at in the sky, and Saturn's in Pisces, right? Wrapping up in Pisces. So Saturn's at 26 degrees Pisces. He's going to be going into Aries by the middle of March of this year of 2026. So with Saturn and Neptune at these last degrees, Neptune's at 29. Um, there's endings, there's closure, there's completions, there's grief, there's sadness. The other thing I had a little ADD moment and changed the subject, but the other thing is people leaving jobs. Like been a really, really strong theme, like people leaving jobs or exiting careers or dramatically shifting or changing their career path or in some type of way. And the other thing I wanted to mention though is like a lot of the changes, a lot of the loss, a lot of the grief, a lot of the things that are exiting in people's lives right now are also have a lot is also kind of like not of their own choice. You know, like you don't like, people leaving a job, some people are getting let go or getting laid off, right? Or getting whatever, and they don't really have a choice. When it comes to people passing away, elderly people passing away, or illness, sickness, and that people are dealing with in the family and stuff like that, whether it be themselves or with others. Like there's no agency, there's no choice in a lot of these things, and I think that's one of the things that the sign of Pisces reminds us about, and even planet Saturn, the 12th house, Pisces, planet Saturn, kind of like you know our freedom getting taken away, our choice getting taken away in the matter. The nodes also have a lot to do with this. North node in Pisces, South node in Virgo. Like the nodes, planet Saturn, our 12th house, the sign of Pisces have a lot to do with victim energy, like being a victim and being powerless in a given situation. And this makes sense because Pisces is connected to prisons and prisoners, right? And if you think about someone who's a prisoner in the prison system, or even like hospitals, those that get hospitalized who are sick and they're bedridden, whatever, they have no agency. Like their power gets taken away, your authority gets taken away, even your free will, right? And this is what the 12th house, this is what Pisces energy, this is what Saturn and Pisces, well, when the nodes going through Pisces and Virgo kind of remind us sometimes that sometimes there's things that happen in your life where you have no power, you have no agency, your free will, your choice gets taken away from you. And this is what a lot of people have experienced over the last, 5 years, 6 years, ever since Saturn went into Capricorn. What is that, 2018, 2019, Saturn in Aquarius, now Saturn in Pisces, Saturn transiting the last three signs of the zodiac, right? Um, you have a lot, societal affairs have been a big theme. Also, the individual in relation to society or relation into bigger things that are happening, right? How the individual has to suffer from like, societal struggles or societal challenges, right? So when we're talking about like inflation, when we're talking about AI taking over jobs, when we're talking about, affordability with housing affordability here in the States, how everything is so inflated, you can't even buy a house, right? These things that are societal problems also become individual, like the individual suffers from society's problems, right? So that's another thing that where there's an element of powerlessness, right? So I just want you guys to think about that as we're moving through this Capricorn season, Aquarius season coming up in February, and then Pisces season, right? This idea that there's like, or even this reality, this truth that some people are experiencing of things being taken away from them, um things being taken away from us, right? Having to grieve things, having to endure losses, like karmic closure, karmic completion, moving away from things, and certain timelines coming to an end. And also during this full moon and Cancer cycle, this idea of one generation handing over power or authority to the next generation. And that's like going to be a big theme. We're going to be seeing this, 2026. We're going to be seeing this, with politics and all of that over the next 4 or 5 years, but also full moon and Cancer cycle that we're in within the family. So elders passing away in the family, and then, people kind of moving up or getting promoted within their own family. So, all of a sudden, the matriarch of the family passes away, and you're the next one that is in line to be the family matriarch, the family patriarch. You're the one that's more responsible. It's interesting because there's like it's like a people getting promoted in life, but people getting like maturing and growing up, and people transitioning into becoming like, the next ancestor. You know what I mean? And things like this. So I think we all just need to be mindful of kind of like how time is moving and how things are aging and how, some people are getting promoted and how there's a new generation of power, a new generation, like, coming into power. And we're not only seeing this on a societal level, or going to be seeing this on a societal level, but we're also seeing it within our own individual families, with new patriarchs, new matriarchs getting elected and things like this within the family, or new people within the family kind of stepping up to kind of be that responsible one, to be that dependable one, to be that one that, everyone could go to for support, for care, for nurturing, things like this, right? But we really, with this full moon and Cancer cycle, we just had the full moon on Saturday this week. We really want to, connect to ancestry. We want to remember our roots, remember where we come from, right? One of the things I was talking about on Saturday with the full moon in Cancer is this idea of homecoming and people going back to the past, or people having the desire to reconnect to their ancestral roots, their ancestral beliefs, their ancestral traditions in some type of way. And this can look like literally this can look like going to visit the homeland, right? Wherever your ancestors may be from. Maybe you are Brazilian and you grew up in the States or wherever, and you've always desired to go back and visit. You desire to go and visit the homeland. There's something calling you back to Brazil or something like this. If you're feeling that call, if you're feeling this pull to go visit, the past, to go visit your ancestors, to go visit your homeland in some type of way, you want to really listen to that. You really want to respond to that because that's Jupiter in Cancer telling you that there's something there, there's something there for you. There's some kind of magic, there's some kind of reconnection. And many people, when we're searching for our identity, when we're searching for ourselves, we, the first place to look is usually in your roots, is to go look at your ancestry, to go look at your heritage, to go look at, the cultural practices, the spiritual practices of your ancestors and of those that came before you. And, this is, I think also, this is just like a separate thing. I'm just, kind of, um, just speaking off topic, whatever. A lot of us in the United States are very disconnected from our ancestral culture, like our ancestral roots. Um, a lot of us who are born here in the United States, we have been in a weird situation when it comes to cultural identity, or when it comes to um, state identity, country identity, whatever you want to call that. Like, what is American? What does being American mean? And I've talked about this before, where many of us have had to choose, like, to kind of like assimilate into what it means to be American. In order to assimilate into what it means to be American, we've had to like compromise and sacrifice and acquiesce and even let go of our ancestral cultural identities or ancestral cultural spiritual practices or beliefs or traditions or whatever. And so there's this process right now of kind of reclaiming our ancestral roots, our ancestral heritage, kind of like going back to the past so that we can really uncover who we are. We can really discover who we are. Where is the piece of me? Where is this piece of me that I'm looking for with those that have come before me, right? And so many of us have this kind of confusing disconnect from our identity because we don't know who we are because we're disconnected from our ancestors. We don't know where we've come from, right? And this is why you see, like, this is why the political situation here in the States is so bad and why you see so many people of color. You see so many, ethnic folks voting against themselves, okay, here in the States, is because they want to be something that they're not. They want to be this American. There's this idea of American identity. I want to be American, right? In order to participate in being American, in order to acquiesce into being American or be accepted as American, America tells us you have to abandon and let go of your spiritual, cultural, ancestral practices, right? You have to pick and choose. And many of us have, it's messed up. We don't realize the damage that it does. It's really important that you guys understand this. What happened to the Indians, what happened with, the South Americans and the Mexicans when the conquistadores showed up, right? Like what happened to the Indians when the Europeans showed up, right? This idea that like your culture is not good. Your culture is barbaric, right? So we're going to go ahead and take away your religion, take away your culture, take away your land, take away everything because we have this belief or this idea that we're more chosen, we're more entitled, we're more godly, we're more civilized than you, right? So experience, that energy, right? That trauma, that collective kind of cultural identity trauma, this like racial ethnic trauma, it's still here. We still live it every day. It's still present here in the United States, whether you realize it or not. Okay, it's present. It's there, and we're all traumatized from it. Okay, so with the full moon and Cancer cycle that we're going through this week and next week, I think it's really important that we take a look at ourselves. We take a look at our roots. We take a look at where we come from. And we really give ourselves permission to reconnect to our ancestry, to reconnect to our roots, to reconnect to our heritage, and to reconnect to the mother, the motherland, whatever that means to you, right? Cancer, full moon and Cancer cycle is 2 weeks. You know, Cancer is a sign of the moon. It's connected, it's ruled by the moon. It's the sign of the mother. It's a sign of being nurtured and being cared for, but it's also very karmic. Cancer, we have the moon in Leo today, but Cancer and Leo are very karmic signs. They're full of karma. These signs, they are ruled by the luminaries, but they're opposed by Saturn. Both of the signs are opposed by Saturn. Leo and Cancer are opposed by Aquarius and Capricorn, respectively, right? So the sun and the moon, Cancer and Leo, which are the planets of the mother and the father, they're karmic. Our mom and dad, our relationships with them are karmic. There's written, it's fated. Like the most karmic relationships are the ones that we have with our mother and our father. And astrology tells us this and shows us this because opposite of the sign of Cancer and Leo are Capricorn and Aquarius, the signs ruled by Saturn, right? And which are when Saturn's a planet of karma, right? So we're kind of bound, the axis of Cancer and Capricorn reminds us that we're karmically bound to our ancestors, whether we like it or not. Our the way that we look, our behaviors, right? Our beliefs sometimes, like, the little things that we do, our little hangups, our personality quirks are karmically connected to our ancestors, whether we're aware of it or not, or whether we like it or not. Right? You are born out of your ancestral roots, your ancestral heritage. That's where your physical form comes from. That's why you look just like them. I mean, come on, right? You act like them, you look like them, you speak like them. You can't get away from them, right? There's this ancestral continuity that happens with our lineage, which is what the axis of Cancer and Capricorn is here to remind us of, right? The continuity of the family name, the continuity of ancestry. But it's important that we heal this, we reconnect to this. This is the time right now during this full moon cycle while Jupiter's in Cancer. So even over the next 6 months, while Jupiter wraps up his transit in Cancer, this is that time to reconnect to those ancestral roots, to reconnect to that ancestral heritage, and to get to know yourself. To get to know yourself through the eyes of those that have come before you. Okay? Very important. Very, very important. Welcome everybody that's here. Thank you guys for being here. All right, so um we don't have any planets changing signs this week. One of the big things that we have this week is Sun, Mars, and Venus all conjoined in the sky. So we have Sun, Mars, Venus, and Capricorn, and they're all going to be moving into an opposition with Jupiter on the 8th and the 9th. This is one of the things I was talking about on Saturday, that the 8th and the 9th are going to be very special days, or they're going to be days where there's like a lot of activity, like new business deals, new opportunities, callbacks, people getting jobs, people getting like good, positive news, or even people taking action and moving forward. It could be with a relationship, it could be, with beginning something or starting something, it could be a business contract, a business deal, something. Because what's going to happen is Sun, Venus, and Mars on the 8th and the 9th, they go to, it's actually going to be the 9th and the 10th, my bad. It's gonna be the 9th and the 10th. But we're gonna start filling it on the 8th though, because they're like within 2 degrees. So I'm looking at we have a cazimi of three planets. We have Sun, Mars, Venus, or technically two planets because the sun cannot be cazimi with itself. A cazimi is when planets are in the heart of the sun or aligned with the sun. So on Thursday the 8th, we have Sun, Venus, Mars all at 18 degrees. And then so Jupiter's at 20. But then on the 9th, and on the 10th of January this week, which is going to be Friday and Saturday, we have Venus, Sun, Mars, all opposing Jupiter. And I don't know if you guys have gone to look at Jupiter out in the sky, but he's actually shining real bright. You cannot miss him. If you go out at night and look in the sky, you will definitely see Jupiter. You'll see Jupiter and the moon pretty close together, but Jupiter is shining extra bright right now. Does anybody know why? Jupiter is shining extra bright in the sky right now. Well, that's because he's retrograde. I don't know if you guys knew this. I've talked about this before, but when planets are retrograde, they're actually more visible. They shine brighter in the sky. And you'll notice this with Venus retrograde. When Venus was retrograde in the sign of Aquarius, um, that was last year, I believe. Was that last year? No, she was retrograde in Aries. She did a retrograde in Aries in 2025. But there was a Venus, I don't know why, but it was I think it was during Aquarius season. Um, but yeah, Venus, when she was an evening star during her retrograde in 2025, she was shining so bright and she was just a beautiful gem in the sky. But yeah, planets that are retrograde, they're closer to Earth or they appear closer to Earth and they shine a little bit brighter. So Aries, you saw her nightly. Yeah, yeah, it was really cool. It was really cool because, and she was an evening star for like, it seemed like a long period of time too, because her retrograde was so slow when she was in evening star status, so you could like see her. Leo during Barbie. I don't think so. I think it was during Aries. I think it was Aries. I think it was I know it was Aquarius season of last year. It was like Aquarius Pisces season. It was when she was retrograde in Aries. It's when Venus and Mercury were both retrograding and where they were both retrograde in Aries together. You guys remember that? That was, and then there was the eclipses at the same time. That was a very messy, that was a very messy period. That Venus retrograde in Aries with Mercury retrograde on top of the eclipses going through Pisces, and that was like a really messy retrograde. That was a messy period. That was like March, February, March of last year. But so yeah, so on Friday and Saturday we have Sun, Venus, and Mars all opposing Jupiter. Jupiter is the planet of expansion, of growth, of luck, of opportunity, right? We had a full moon in Cancer that had the full moon right next to Jupiter, like, within what, 8 degrees. So the full moon was at 13 and Jupiter's at 20. So, I believe that this is going to be a week, especially as we move towards the weekend, where there's like a lot of benefic, positive things happening, okay? But also the declarations of war, wanting to assert ourselves or fight for ourselves, or even needing to go to court and like fight for like a legal thing or something like this. Because the sun Mars opposite Jupiter. So when we have like a lot going on in the sky, when you there's like a stellium in the sky, what you want to do is you want to break it down and piece apart the every aspect, because sun opposite Jupiter is one thing, Mars opposite Jupiter is another thing, Venus opposite Jupiter is another thing, right? Like every one of these planets opposing Jupiter, Jupiter is going to amplify or is going to signify or is going to activate a different thing for every one of those planets. Mars opposite Jupiter, Sun Mars opposite Jupiter, that's like authority figures. That's like, declarations of war. That's like leaders and bosses and stuff like that, making these decisions or choices where they're trying to expand or grow, or they're trying to get, I'm really thinking of like, what happened with Maduro and Venezuela and Trump and all this, right? It's like these declarations of war, these actions that are being taken for opportunity. You got to keep in mind, okay, the United States doesn't do things just to do things. Okay, the United States does things for money. That's why they're an eighth house stellium. Okay. Right? The United States only does things when there's financial interest involved. So, because they're thinking about their gains, they're thinking about making money. Right. This is why the United States is trying to expand its territory in some type of way or expand its influence, because they're looking at, Venezuela, they're possibly even looking at Greenland, whatever, as financial opportunities. Like these, yes, there's a whole other narrative, a whole other cultural narrative about the liberation of the people and all that. But, you also got to keep in mind that the United States is a corporation. And they only do things for money, really. They're driven by money, right? And things like that. So I want you guys to be mindful of this with leaders. And you could even see this like with your job. At your job with bosses and with decisions that the corporation are making around new leadership. I do think with Sun Mars opposite Jupiter to me is new leaders, like new promotions, new managers, new bosses, new CEOs, like, but also one's getting fired or one's getting let go or attacks on them as well, right? Because of the Sun Mars together. So this is why, with the sun being the planet of authority figures and leaders and those in the limelight and celebrities, and then Mars being the planet of attack and war, right? And Mars being the usurper. So when it comes to traditional astrology, Mars was seen. It's Mars and Saturn have this kind of they have a what you call a reputation. They have a reputation with being usurpers. And what do I mean by usurper? Well, that's someone who defies authority and who looks to overthrow the king or overthrow the leader or overthrow the boss. Right. And so when Sun and Mars are transiting together, and Mars is stronger in Capricorn, right? Mars is in the sign that he loves. Mars does really well. Not that he loves, I don't, but that he's exalted in. Mars gets the say here, right? With the stellium that we got going on in Capricorn right now. The strongest planet in that stellium is Mars. So this is why we've been seeing, acts of war and a lot of agitation, a lot of heat, a lot of fire in a lot of different ways. The things catching on fire, it's been a big theme. We've been seeing things catching on fire because of the Sun Mars together. Sun Mars, right? Sun and Mars are both aggressive planets. They're both planets of heat. They're very hot and dry, and they're both like that's their humor. They're hot and dry, but when they come together, they kind of amplify each other's energy. And there's a lot. There's men that have this. I actually talk about this aspect a lot when men have the Sun Mars together. These men that have this, they're warriors. They're strong. They're powerful. But even anybody that has this, even when a woman has Sun Mars together, it's different. I don't know. It's different. I think. This is just my experience. This is my truth. The planets manifest differently based on your gender. Really, they do. And aspects manifest differently based on your gender as well, because, Sun Mars together is going to show up with the type of men that a woman's dealing with in her chart. She may not identify with that Sun Mars as we see it manifest as much when a man has this in his chart. He's really, when a man has Sun Mars together, he's really going to embody that because those are the masculine planets, those are the male planets, right? And so there's more of an identification with Sun Mars. But when a woman has Sun Mars together in her chart, that's going to more manifest outward with the type of men, the type of father, the type of brothers or uncles that she has. But she can still have those qualities of being very assertive and very authoritative and very bossy and very, you know, um, strong and powerful. And I think, Anthony Joshua, the guy that beat, what's his name? What's his name? Jake Paul. The guy that beat Jake Paul, he has Sun Mars together, and he's a boxer. There's a lot of men that I've noticed who have that Sun Mars thing. They do some kind of aggressive profession. They're like a boxer, they're like a warrior in some type of way, or they work in like a dangerous profession. They're in the military, something like this. That's like a Sun Mars thing. So, with the Sun Mars together, we just want to keep in mind there's this energy of leaders feeling like they need to take action, authority figures feeling like they need to take action, but also we may feel compelled to be assertive in some type of way this week with Sun Mars together. We may be compelled to take action and to assert a boundary to, implement some kind of new rules or regulations, or even implement some kind of new structure into our life because we have so much in Capricorn. We have Sun, Mars, Venus, Mercury, all in Capricorn, right? And Capricorn is the sign of like structure and discipline and control and things like this, right? Marissa says, LOL, I have Sun Mars together, used to kickbox a lot. Yeah, and it's good for you. It's good when you have Sun Mars, like for you, if you have that in your chart, you want to do physical things. You want to be very connected to the body. You want to really embody that Sun Mars energy. You want to be assertive. You want to be independent. You want to work for yourself. You want to develop strength in the body, build those muscles, build those leg muscles, get all strong because that's how you'll manifest the best of the Sun Mars energy. And that's also when you put Mars's energy to work like that, it's not going to manifest as like you being angry or irritable or even people attacking you or you just, because Mars's energy is going to look to go somewhere. So Mars's energy, right? When we're not honoring our own Mars or when we are a Mars person, I'm talking to myself right now. Mars's energy is going to show up in other places. It's going to show up as an accident. It's going to show up as an injury. It's going to show up, right? Because Mars, all the planets, they kind of like accumulate energy. If you're not tapping into them, if you're not channeling their energy, they accumulate energy. And if you have, a strong energetic signature in your chart of that particular planet, especially Mars, when Mars decides to go ahead and express himself, and if that energy is all built up and it needs to be released, well, that's going to show up as an accident. And, that could show up as a car accident, that could show up as an injury or things like this, right? So it's good to get in right relationship with Mars. If you are a Mars person, if you have a lot of Aries, Scorpio, you have Sun Mars, Moon Mars together in your chart, you want to tap into Mars energy in a healthy way, which is by physical activity. You know what I mean? Or even just connecting to things that you're passionate about, because Mars is a very passionate energy, it's very hot energy, very sexual energy too. Mars is a very sexual guy. Mars is sexy. Mars is a sexy guy. He's a sexy man. And you'll also see this too when men have a strong Mars signature like Sun Mars. They're sexy. Mars is a sexy planet. We all love Mars until you're in a relationship with them. You're like, oh shit, oh my God, what did I do? Mars is nice to look at from afar, but like being in a relationship with him though, that's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother battle. You know what I mean? Anyways, so yeah, Sun Mars opposite Jupiter this week. That formation goes exact on January um 10th on Saturday. Yeah. But the Venus Jupiter opposition. So the other thing is we have Sun Venus together opposite Jupiter. And Sun Venus opposite Jupiter is very sweet. It's very positive. Sun Venus Cazimi is especially Venus touching Jupiter, the Venus and Jupiter in conversation is very positive. It's very expansive. It's very opportunistic. It's very benefic, benevolent, lucky, right? Sun Venus opposite Jupiter. So that's where I'm kind of feeling like, I don't know, this is also giving me like partnership and pregnancy and committing to a house, like buying a house or moving in together, things like this. I think this is going to be really good for relationships. And I think Sun Venus Cazimi is going to give people a lot of clarity. So the Sun Venus Cazimi is on Thursday. We have Sun Mars Venus all together in the sky on Thursday. Actually, do they do their they're doing like a Cazimi dance starting on the 7th on Wednesday. So we have Sun Venus Mars at 17. They all go to 18 degrees together on the 8th. Okay, on Thursday. So Wednesday they do their Kazemi dance. They start their Kazemi dance. Well, Sun Venus, actually, hold on, wait a minute. Actually, the Sun Venus Kazemi is today. But it's so crazy because Sun Venus are actually traveling together. Oh, up until Friday. We have Sun Venus in the sky together. So we have this Sun Venus Kazemi. But what does that mean? That's about clarity in relationships. And that's about, right? Because when Venus conjoins the sun, she's starting a new cycle with the sun, right? So if the sun is soul or guiding light, Venus Kazemi says that she's starting a whole new cycle around the sun or going around the zodiac from the sun. So this is giving me a refreshed or renewed perspective on relationships. This is also giving me clarity around relationship issues or relationship challenges. We got to keep in mind though, it's Sun, Venus, Mars, and it's all being disposited by Saturn and Pisces. So to me, this is the clarity around relationships is more about like surrender and like loss and like grief and like I can't save this person. We can't salvage this, right? Or high vibration, Saturn and Pisces, forgiveness, apologies, new foundations, new structures, a renewal of vows, maybe a renewal of a commitment, or us having to kind of talk about or discuss our boundaries or like reasserting those boundaries or renegotiating those boundaries in relationships or even like what's the new contract look like in our relationship, like what are the terms and conditions now, how do the terms and conditions need to be updated in the relationship, how does the contract of the relationship need to be renewed or need to be updated in some type of way. These are things that we are going to be thinking about or asking ourselves this week with Sun Venus Cazimi in Capricorn. Capricorn is a very serious sign, and Capricorn is a very black and white type of sign. Capricorn is not a sign that is okay with the middle ground in any way, shape, or form. We either are or we aren't. It either is or it isn't. Capricorn is a very practical, is a very pragmatic, is a very factual sign. Okay? It's not a sign, it doesn't give no wiggle room. There's no wiggle room with Capricorn energy in relationships. Like Capricorn is very serious and it's very, these are the rules of the relationship. This is the timing of the relationship, right? They have Capricorns put up walls. They're very hard to, but once they're in love, once they're in relationship with you, they are committed, they're loyal, they're going to be there to the end. We see this with Capricorn and Cancer. They have a really hard time letting go sometimes. Capricorn and Cancer, they have a really, really hard time of letting go of people because they're very aware of time. Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, the planet of time. So they're very aware of time that invested in relationships. Another sign that's just like this, well, actually, the other two I would say that are like this. I think the earth signs are like this, but Virgo is like this as well because Virgo has Capricorn in the fifth house away if you put Virgo on the ascendant. And Virgo will be like, I've been with this person forever, so that's why I'm going to stay with them, or that's why I'm going to choose them, right? Virgo is also a sign that likes that control and things like this and likes things to go their way and they like certain rules and regulations and relationships because of the Capricorn influence on their fifth house or the fifth house away from their sign, but also time. Like they will stay in something and they'll try to work it out and salvage it if they have invested a lot of time into somebody or something, right? And I think Cancer is like this as well. Cancer is a sign opposite of Capricorn that also has a hard time letting go and a hard time moving away from the past, especially if they've invested a lot of time. So with Cancer, it's more about like emotional memories and stuff like this. Like with Cancer, it's more like, oh, if we own a home together and if we built a family together, or even like, see, this is a very common Capricorn and Cancer thing. Oh, we're staying together for the kids. Very, very, very common Capricorn and Cancer thing. I think Virgos and Pisces also do that as well. There'll be the signs that are like, oh, we're gonna stay together for the kids. We're gonna stay together because we've been together for 10 years, and we're gonna stay together. We have so many. We've built something together. Capricorn. Oh, we've made so many memories together. Cancer, right? Emotional memories. Cancer. We've built something, structure, building, foundation. Capricorn, right? So, yeah, yeah. So with that being said, with Sun, Venus, Mars, we just got to be mindful of not letting that investment, that emotional investment, not letting the practicality, not letting, time take precedent over our experience of the relationship, especially if it's been tough or difficult or challenging, or if it's not really, giving back what we're putting in and things like this. You know what I mean? I think Capricorn and Cancer are signs that are willing to put up with a lot before they walk away. They are very resilient signs. I don't know who got the idea that Cancer is a weak sign because it is not. Cancer is not a weak sign. Cancer is a very strong sign. This is why they're a crab. Have you ever seen a crab? Have you ever gotten pinched by a crab? Crabs are strong. Okay, they're not weak. Okay, they got their strong arm. They got that strong arm. And so it's funny because Capricorn or Cancer gets a a lot of people will be like, oh, Cancer is so sensitive and so no, I don't know which Cancer you know, because have you ever seen a mom when she's defending her kids? Have you ever seen an angry mom? Have you ever seen a mom when she has to protect her kids and you use and how far she's willing to go to protect her kids? Okay. Yeah, they got that strong arm. They got the strong arm. Okay. That one strong arm. It's funny because if you ever look at Cancers, you also notice that one of their arms is a little bit bigger than the other. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I swear, if I said that and I didn't like say JK, you guys would like take that seriously, and you'd be on the lookout for it. Like you'd be looking at your Cancer friends or Cancer family members, like, oh my God, is one of their arms bigger than the other? Is one of their arms bigger than the other? No. It'd be like, Louis, I'd be getting DMs. Louis, oh my God, my mom's left arm is bigger than her right arm. Now you're so right. You're so on point. So you guys just be taking things that I say, you guys just like accept it. Like, oh my God, that's truth. Like, let me go ahead and look for it now. I was about to measure my sister. My mom would kill a man. My right arm is bigger. She said my right arm is bigger. Wait, it is true. My right arm is bigger than my... Wait, maybe I'm onto something. Maybe I'm onto something. That's so funny. We got the cancers in the chat verifying the fact that their right arm is bigger than their left. That's so hilarious. I love it. But yeah, these are very strong signs that we're dealing with. These are signs that are very resilient, and especially, I swear, when it comes to relationships, like I will see Capricorn and Cancer really really try to stick it through and really try to salvage it and really try to make it work. And they really have a hard time of letting go. And we see this with friendships as well. We see this with jobs, especially when a Cancer makes a workplace their family, because Cancer is looking for family everywhere. So this is one of the beautiful things about Cancer. Cancer and Capricorn, an evolved Capricorn does this as well. They create family structures wherever they're at, whatever spaces they're in. So it could be like a group meetup thing. It could be at the job, like it could be within the friend group. Like they bring the family dynamic. They bring everyone together. Like they're the creators of family. And when a Cancer really falls in love with the job and they feel like the job or the work, their coworkers becomes their family, oh, they can have a really hard time letting go of a job or letting go of a career because they get emotionally invested and emotionally attached to it. And they're like, wait, this is my family, and like my coworkers are my family and I love my boss. And then like and everyone looks up to them and they become like it's so funny because they become like the mother. A lot of times they become like the mother, the nurturer, the caretaker, or the one that everyone leads on, in the workplace and stuff like that. I love cancers in the workplace. Like can't like some of my well, I'm a Pisces rising, so obviously, and I have a Capricorn moon, so I love cancers in general. But it's the workplaces that I've had, like even the managers, the bosses that I've had that have a strong cancer energy, they're like the parent. They're like the parent, and they are like they're like they like bring everyone together, and you can go to them and talk to them about anything, and they really care, they really care. And that's been my experience when I was working regular jobs and stuff. Like the cancers of the workplace were always they brought the energy of family, to the work environment. And it was always so sweet. But the challenge with that, if you are someone with cancer placements, is that you can have a hard time just letting go or knowing when it's time to exit, knowing when it's time to leave, right? Like when the family dynamic gets toxic, or when the work environment gets toxic, or when the universe is trying to tell you, hey, it's time to pivot, it's time to make a move, it's time to make a change. Cancer and Capricorn can have a really, really hard time moving on and letting go and kind of moving to the next chapter because they're so emotionally invested in things. Cancer is and Capricorn, they really do, you know, they really do invest so much of themselves, and they really invest so much of their emotional energy and take on responsibility in ways that express their care, right? But when they do that, especially if they're not doing it for the right people or they're not doing it for the right place, it can really be a detriment to them and they can become entrapped. And I've seen a lot of Capricorns and Cancers within my own practice as an astrologer and as a tarot reader, who trap themselves. They trap themselves in a workplace or in a family dynamic or in a situation, and they accept it. They're like, okay, I'm trapped and I'm stuck and I'm gonna bear the burden, because I care, because we've been together for so long, because I can't see anything else for myself, you know? So, if you are a Cancer or a Capricorn energy, you want to remind yourself you are a cardinal sign. You are a cardinal still. And you gotta know when it's time to go. You gotta know when it's time to just be like, you know what? It's time to nip it at the root and just go and move on. You know what I mean? But yeah, there is that karmic burden. Cancer and Capricorn are willing to carry the karmic burden and willing to endure things. This idea of endurance. Quality of endurance is a Capricorn thing, but it's also a Cancer thing. It's also a Cancer thing. Anthony said, I've noticed that with my Capricorn. My friend is so talented, but she won't leave. She's been there for 7 years. Highly toxic environment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's crazy because they're always like Capricorn, like waiting. They're like waiting for their investment to pay off, waiting for the investment to pay off, right? Like, oh, just but you got to know when to pull out. You got to know when an investment is just bad, and you got to be able to salvage whatever you got. Whatever you got to be able to know when it's time to pull out of a failing investment so that you can salvage it and get whatever you can out of it, okay? Before you lose it all. You know what I mean? And that's like even thinking about like investing. For those of you that you got fifth house energy, you're an 11th house, fifth house person, you like to invest, you like to do the stock market, whatever, right? You got to know when to pull out. You got to know when it's time to like, because it's just not working. You know what I mean? You got to know. All right, let's get back to astrology the week ahead. So yeah, so Sun, Venus opposite Jupiter this week, very, very positive, especially for like promotions and new job opportunities and new work opportunities and things like this. Okay. Um, the other thing that makes starting Tuesday, what makes Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, well, what makes this week special, especially Wednesday and Thursday? It's gonna start on Tuesday. We're gonna start feeling it on Tuesday tomorrow, but it's gonna be Wednesday and Thursday. Is the moon? goes into Virgo, and the moon is going to be trining all the planets in Capricorn. So we're going to have this really beautiful trine with the moon in Virgo, trine Mercury. So the moon in Virgo trines Mercury tomorrow, on Tuesday. Okay. The moon goes into Virgo tomorrow around 10 a.m. actually, and 10 a.m. Pacific time. And the moon, the first trine that the moon's going to make is going to be to Mercury. All right. And moon trine Mercury, really good for business deals, really good for organization, for cleaning things, for repairing things, for fixing things. But Mercury is a planet of jobs. Mercury is a planet of your day-to-day routines, your day-to-day habits, but Mercury is also the planet of information, email communication, phone calls. Okay. So with Mercury trying the moon, and the moon being the celestial body that activates and moves things, I do think starting tomorrow, we're going to see people talking about a new job, or we're going to see people getting phone calls. We're going to see some kind of movement or some kind of activity with Mercury things. Okay. Going on an interview, you know what I mean? Getting that letter, right? Um, but also important communications, talking about very serious things, right? Mercury's ruling over the moon in Virgo. So Virgo is ruled by planet Mercury. Mercury's in Capricorn, a sign that he does pretty well in, actually. I love Mercury in Capricorn. A lot of people that I know who have, or a lot of people, not only people that I know, but a lot of my clients that have Mercury in Capricorn, they are about their business. Let me tell you that. And they're business people, and they are really good at brainstorming business ideas, and they're always like ready to make money in a new way. So when I see Moonshine Mercury, to me, this is like implementing um, new business practices, or maybe updating current business practices, or maybe for those of you that are business owners, you want to modify or shift or change something, or you want to implement something new. But to me, this is really giving me new opportunities. I think we're going to see a lot of kind of new opportunities coming in for people, especially earth signs, water signs. You guys are kind of being looked at right now. You guys, earth signs and water signs, especially Scorpio, Taurus, Cancer, and Capricorn, are really getting the best of this. Um, Pisces and Virgo are still dealing with the nose and with Saturn, right? So Pisces and Virgo, they have a little bit of the good and the bad, but Capricorn, Cancer they have Jupiter. We have Jupiter in Cancer right now. So I feel like Capricorn and Cancer are really getting the benefits of this. And also Scorpio and Taurus. Very, very good. This is very, very positive, very good for them. Um, so yeah, and for everybody, you may want to take a look at where your Capricorn house is at, where your Capricorn, Cancer, and Virgo house is at, because this is where you can be seeing some kind of like expansion or growth, or some kind of new opportunity, or some like good things happening. A lot of times, when it comes to our transits and what's happening in our own chart, it's not happening directly to us, but that energy is manifesting around us. For instance, right? When Jupiter was going through Taurus in 2022, I believe. I think that's when Jupiter was in Taurus. Yeah. Jupiter was going through my third house of siblings, and my brother ended up getting married. So Jupiter is the planet of celebration and joy, and Jupiter has a lot to do with marriage. Like Jupiter is a planet of ceremony. So, marriages, graduations, retirement parties. Jupiter is the planet of ceremony, right? He holds ceremony, and then he rewards us with something, or he'll gift us a certificate. But it's like a marker, it's like a ceremony to mark some kind of positive new thing in our life. So when Jupiter was going through my third house of siblings, my brother ended up getting married, right? So a lot of times astrological transits, they may not be happening directly to us, but they're happening around us to somebody within our life. That energy may be manifesting externally with someone around us, right? In our own family, with a friend, or with a spouse. So it's good to be mindful of this, because a lot of times we'll be like, oh, well, the astrology didn't really manifest for me. But actually, it's not manifesting to you with you, it's manifesting around you and someone else's life around you, right? But still showing up in your life though, right? Does that make sense? So it's important. It's important to be aware of this, because when we start to kind of be a little bit more expansive with our experience of astrology, and we kind of are not so self-oriented or ego-oriented around it, we can also see how astrology is manifesting in our life within the lives of others around us, not just with us, right? It's because and it also expands your astrological experience and your astrological knowledge and stuff like that. So something to just be mindful of, you know. Astrology doesn't just manifest in your life, but also manifests in the life of in the lives of people around you, you know. And you'll see this. You'll see this. The loss of, you know, your brother losing a job will show up in your chart. Okay. Your mom's illness will show up in your chart. Okay. Like it will if you know how to look. If you know how to look. Okay. So yeah, so on Tuesday, tomorrow, January 6th, we have the moon in Virgo trine Mercury. It's very, very positive. It's very, very good for, you know, business opportunities, job opportunities, any kind of email communication. Also, if there's like an important conversation that you want to have and you want it to your words to be understood or well received or something like this, tomorrow would be a great day to have that conversation with Moon trine Mercury. Okay. When the Moon and Mercury are talking to each other in a positive way, when they're in a like sextile or a trine, Mercury's a planet of the mind and Moon's a planet of emotion. So we have the planet of emotion, the planet of the mind in a harmonious relationship. That's a great time to have a conversation, Mercury, around emotional matters, Moon, right? It is the moon in Virgo though. So, you know, there is going to be a little anxiety, a little bit of stress. You know, the moon in Virgo transit, I don't know if you guys follow the moon or if you track the moon and where the moon's at, what your emotional experience is. But one of the things I notice is when the moon's in Virgo, I feel very stressed out. I feel very anxious and I tend to have a hard time sleeping. And I also get very, because it's my seventh house, I'm a Pisces rising. So whenever the moon goes through my seventh, I also get very like love and romance. And I'm like, but then it's also like anxiety because the moon's in Virgo. So yeah, so that's tomorrow. So then on Wednesday, the moon keeps moving forward, and the moon's gonna trine Sun, Venus, and Mars on Wednesday. So Wednesday is kind of like a very sweet day. Moon trine Sun is wonderful. The luminaries talking to each other is great for integration of anything emotional. This is also great for any kind of creative project or launching any kind of creative project, or maybe you want to put your work on display. I do feel like on Wednesday, someone's getting a promote. Like this is like about promotion, and this is about kind of moving up in the business, or this is about kind of even maybe clarity or sureness around, you know, new career directions or new work opportunities, stuff like this, with Moon trine. So Moon trine the Sun when the sun and the moon are talking to each other, that's a moment of integration around identity and self and around like family and emotion. So the sun trine the moon and the luminaries are talking to each other. It's very, very positive. It's a very good thing. But then we also have moon trine Venus and moon trine Mars that day, right? Because we have Sun, Venus, Mars all in this cazimi in this stellium. So it's gonna be a little bit of a mixed bag. You know, moonshine Mars can be a little agitating, a little irritable, or it can be we got to assert ourselves, or we got to like express something, and we got to, you know, kind of not go to war per se, but it's more about just addressing something or leaning into maybe there's some like an area of conflict in our life, and we've been avoiding that moment of conflict or that moment of contention because we don't want to address something, or we know we've been tabling something and it's time to like bring it up and talk about it. Well, this would be a good day to do it. The moon Mars might activate that, it might trigger that. Okay. um Another thing I just yeah, and then Venus trine the moon is great for love, like love and romance and artistic pursuits, creative pursuits, things like this. It's great for partnership and things like for you know, bringing things back into harmony, bringing things back into balance. But the thing that I also want to note though is that the moon is going to be passing over the south node at this time, or even when the moon, well, after the moon trines Mercury, the moon does pass over the south node on Tuesday evening going into Wednesday. So there is this energy of certain karmic or fated or destined things kind of like happening that are out of our control. But it could be more about like, hold on, I'm gonna take my sweater off because I'm kind of hot. It could be more about like a releasing of things or a closure of things, okay? Because it's the south node. It's the south node. And you know, we're in karma times, right? Saturn. We're in Capricorn season, Saturn energy. So it could be more about like saying no or moments of rejection or moments of loss and things like this. Or even getting sick. You got to be careful, okay? Be careful when the moon's in Virgo, my loves. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Okay, because the people have been getting sick. It's been going around, and it's the South Node in Virgo, and the moon's gonna be with the South Node. So, we want to make sure we're taking care of ourselves. All right. So that's gonna be Wednesday. Moon trine Sun, Venus, Mars. And then on Thursday, oh, this is just like it's like a lot going on. Someone said the flu is no joke. Oh yeah, it's been going around. Thursday, oh man. And then it's like we don't stop. Thursday is also busy because Thursday the moon opposes Saturn and Neptune. So the moon's in Virgo opposing Saturn and Neptune on Thursday. And so that is a day of sickness and kind of, but that could also be a day of confusion or a day of closure. Moon opposite Saturn. This could also have us feeling a little bit more heavy. We can be a little bit more emotional. Also, pay attention to your dreams Wednesday night going into Thursday. Okay. You can get some messaging from the dream realm. You can have an ancestor visit you or have a spirit visit you. Wednesday night to Thursday when the moon is in Virgo opposing Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. This could also be a little moment of Delulu. Be careful if we're getting scammed. Watch so like Wednesday night, Thursday, if there's any kind of like weird, funky financial stuff that happens, don't be surprised because it is the moon opposite Neptune and Mercury. So, yeah, purchases that you make, any kind of offers that are made to you, any kind of like, let's say, there's a job offer on Craigslist and it's like, actually, no, it's a whole scam, right? You just got to be mindful of that on Thursday with the moon opposite Neptune, moon opposite Saturn and Pisces, okay? There could be some karmic lessons that people have to learn because they lack discernment. You're not being discerning. Moon in Virgo asks us to be discerning, to discern fact from fiction, to discern a truth from a lie, to discern a scam from an opportunity. Moon in Virgo opposite Saturn and Neptune in Pisces. Saturn and Neptune in Pisces, they are, especially when they're so close together like that, they're like scammers. It's like scammer energy. They can, be try to take advantage of us. Saturn Neptune can try to take advantage of us. Our lack of intuition, our lack of discernment, our lack of does this make sense? And I think the other thing to do to protect yourself from any kind of things like that happening, you always want to like slow down and ask yourself, does this make sense? Right? Is this like practical? Is this like, they're calling me, they're offering this, like, is this like realistic? Is this practical? Does this make sense? Slowing down. Scammers and things like this, the way that they try to take advantage of us is by rushing us through things and by confusing us. And sometimes, by belittling us, by making us question ourselves. They'll get us to like, pull out that card and things like that. So you just want to be mindful of this. This doesn't have to just show up in the financial realm, but this can also show up with like, in our family life and with friendships and things like this. So, you just want to be mindful of that, okay? On Thursday, Wednesday night going to Thursday with the moon in Virgo, opposing Neptune and Saturn in Pisces. All right. So the other interesting thing is all these planets in Capricorn, they're approaching 20 degrees of Capricorn, which is going to be Saturday the 10th. Okay. 20 degrees to me is a rough degree. It's a degree of trauma and transformation. And the reason why this is kind of like maybe a little triggering, Saturday, Sunday might be a little triggering for people, is because this Capricorn stellium, this like Sun, Mars, Venus, and Capricorn, they're all coming into square Chiron and Aries who just went direct. So this kind of square with like Mars square Chiron, Sun square Chiron, Venus square Chiron. That tells me that there's going to be some kind of frustration or some kind of woundedness or some kind of triggering that's happening for a lot of people this weekend. This in what I'm speaking to right now, what I'm like these transits that I'm talking about, they may also pertain to you a little bit more or actually be manifesting in your life very physically or very literally if you are a cardinal rising sign or if you have a lot of cardinal energy in your chart. So if you have a lot of like Capricorn, Cancer, Pisces, or Libra, because these planets, right? Jupiter in Cancer, Venus, Sun, Mars, Mercury in Capricorn, Chiron in Aries, celestial bodies, Chiron's an asteroid, not a planet, are probably hitting you or activating you, or probably they're hitting your chart or activating your chart, right? So if you are a cardinal person, I want you to be extra absorbent of what I'm saying around like this week and next week, okay? Because I do think that this can really show up in your guys' lives, in your guys' lived experience, all right? But yeah, Sun square Chiron is a woundedness around identity, woundedness around the father, woundedness around children, okay? Mars square Chiron is woundedness around anger or power or authority or woundedness around men, okay? Venus square Chiron is woundedness around relationships, around partnerships, around connection. So we're going to be seeing a lot of different types of kind of like pain or woundedness showing up. And whatever shows up, it's showing up because it needs to be healed. It needs to be worked through. We also got to keep in mind Chiron just went direct on Saturday, this past Saturday, on the day of the full moon. Chiron just came out of retrograde and is like now moving forward. So this kind of tells me that with Chiron direct, we're integrating all of whatever like healing we've gone through, whatever healing needs to be done. We're integrating that. We're like taking action towards that healing and we're like applying it, right? So this could be like, oh, you want to work on healing your relationship with your father, Chiron square the sun. So now you're like reaching out to him. Now you actually want to take him out to lunch, or he's taking you out to lunch, or now you want to actually spend time with them and you want to have these like deeper conversations with him, right? Venus square Chiron, you want to work on your relationship. So now it's like, oh, well, now we want to, go to marriage counseling, and now we want to spend more time together to like work through our problems and things like this, right? So it's like kind of taking action towards our healing and actually moving towards the healing with like practical steps or practical matters, all right? Like by actually doing things, right? To move towards the healing journey or activate that, all right? That's going to be because Venus, Sun, Mars are all squaring Chiron come the weekend. Okay, Bill. This actually, the direct square, it doesn't. Well, Venus square Chiron is on Saturday, Sunday. Venus goes from 21 to 23 from Saturday to Sunday. So it's like Saturday, Sunday, Venus square Chiron. But then the Sun, Mars, they perfect that square to Chiron on Monday. Well, it's gonna be Monday the 12th for the Sun square Chiron on Monday the 12th, and then on Tuesday it's gonna be Mars square Chiron. And Mars square Chiron, and it's 22 degrees. So the other thing, my love, this is like it's 22 degrees. It's 22 degrees. And we don't like the 22nd degree. Okay? We don't like the 22nd degree. We don't. I don't like that degree. And it's not because it's just like, oh, I don't like it. It's because it really is a degree of tragedy. And it's really a degree of difficult things that happen or karmic things that happen. One of the biggest downloads I just got when I saw Sun at 22 and Mars at 22 squaring Chiron, what came to me was suicide. So anyone that is struggling mental health wise, emotionally struggling, they're struggling with some kind of addiction. I'm just getting down around people struggling with addiction, and like kind of like self-destruction or self-sabotage, or even people that have endured a lot of loss and they're carrying a lot of emotional burden. We want to be very cognizant, mindful, compassionate. Want to reach out. If you know that there's anybody struggling with mental health or like emotional matters, or they've been going through things in their life, or there's like been a lot of tragedy or struggle or whatever, and you know they have a tendency for like depression or for, and they're like self-harm or whatever. Trigger warning. Sorry, I should have said that before I said the S word. Um, Reach out to those people, okay? Because I don't know, I'm just looking at Venus, Sun, Mars squaring Chiron and all this at 22 degrees, and it's kind of giving me like it's giving me self-destruction, or it's giving me um yeah, self-destruction. Yeah, self-harm is what it's giving. Um, there's like a lot of woundedness coming up around like rejection, around like people feeling rejected, people feeling left out, people feeling lonely. Also, feeling like a failure. I just got to download around like, oh, I feel like I failed, you know? And maybe that's coming from the Capricorn stellium, the Capricorn energy. You know, Capricorn is this sign that's very ambitious and it wants to succeed, but when Capricorn does not win or does not succeed, they tend to internalize that failure and it can feel like this defeat, you know? And also, that's one of the things Aries and Capricorn has in common. Both of those signs are very, very ambitious. And both of those signs, they can be a little competitive. They do not take losses well. And they tend to internalize loss or failure and make it personal, make it about them. And it can be like, well, and it can be very self-destructive. These are also signs that are very self-destructive. They can be very self-destructive. And so, I just want you guys to be mindful of this energy, okay? Whether it be if it's you, if it's those around you, I want you to be mindful this weekend because it's like we have this beautiful high in the middle of the week. Like we have this like Moon in Virgo trining this whole like, Capricorn stellium. We have like Sun, Venus, Mars all together. We have this full moon and then also Sun, Venus, Mars opposite Jupiter, right? But then the energy kind of like we start getting to these last degrees of Capricorn or these like early last degrees of Capricorn that are squaring Chiron, and it seems like we have to kind of we have to kind of confront a lot of like trauma or woundedness, or confront a lot of like pain and stuff like that, you know? And that's going to be this weekend. So I want you guys to be mindful of this, okay, this weekend. Also, what's so interesting, oh my God, this makes a lot of sense. So where's the moon at? Right? As the Sun, Venus, and Mars are coming into square Chiron, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the moon on Friday is in Libra in a cardinal sign. So the moon actually on Saturday, as the Sun, Venus, and Mars are around 20, 21 degrees, the moon's actually at the last degrees of Libra. Moon's at 24 degrees Libra at 4 p.m. Pacific time on Saturday. And the moon is also opposing Chiron on Saturday. So the moon comes into oppose Chiron on Saturday as Venus comes into square Chiron from Saturday to Sunday. And the moon in Libra is ruled by Venus, who's squaring Chiron, right? So we have the moon going through Libra, the sign of relationships and partnerships and justice and fairness. But the dispositor of the moon in Libra is Venus, who's coming to square Chiron, and also the moon is opposing Chiron. So it just seems to like it looks like this weekend is a weekend of healing, though. It's a weekend of woundedness or addressing pain or action, taking action towards our healing. But I feel like there's going to be a lot of people having breakthroughs. It just feels like emotional breakthroughs and kind of like being like, ugh, because we still have Sun Mars together. Like, you know what? I'm just accepting that this is what it is and I'm moving on. I'm moving forward. I'm wrapping it up. I'm accepting this is the way it was. This is the way it was meant to be. However it ended, however it closed out, I just got to accept it. I got to find closure within myself for it. And then we're just like moving on, moving forward. Okay. Just want you guys to be very mindful of this because then on Sunday, where does the moon go? Into Scorpio. So as Sun and Mars are coming into square Chiron, Venus is moving past the square Chiron, but she's still at 23 on Sunday. We have Sun Mars at 21, about to square Chiron at 22. The moon goes into Scorpio, where it's fallen, where it's also ruled by Mars. You see what I'm saying? Literally, I felt this energy. Yeah. So there's like emotional upheaval, my loves. There's like a lot of emotional excavation. Also, we got to keep in mind the full moon in Cancer, the moon in Scorpio trines the full moon in Cancer by sign. So whatever the full moon in Cancer is trying to reveal, is trying to heal, the moon in Scorpio is giving you an opportunity to transmute it, to transform it, to alchemize it, to shift that energy in some type of way from like Sunday to Monday to Tuesday, because the moon's going to be transiting Scorpio January 11th, 12th, and the 13th. Okay. I'm also getting a download around secrets coming out or secrets getting revealed like an onion. Yeah, someone said peeling it like an onion. Yeah, or things unfolding like an onion. Yeah, make you cry. Pulling back the layers and healing. Yeah. Right? And the right when like I love this. I love the metaphor of the onion. I love that because the closer you get to the center of an onion, the more pungent it gets, and the stronger it gets, and the more you are going to cry, right? The outer layers of the onion are not as strong, are not as pungent as the inner layers of the onion. And this is how healing is. Right? When you start a healing journey, you're working on the outer layers, like, oh yeah, I got that, I got that trauma, I got that, whatever. But then when you really are going to the depths of your on your healing journey, you start get to the core, to the meat, to the substance of the woundedness, that's when you really start to cry. That's when you really start to uncover some things and unlock some things and where the all of a sudden that emotional shit that you've been storing and your womb or in your back or in your neck or wherever it gets released. So yeah, Moon in Scorpio starting on Sunday is gonna really, push us towards really heal, like doing this deep cathartic release and healing and all this. Also, you gotta, right? What's so interesting is like the moon goes through Venus's sign on, Thursday, Friday, Wednesday night, Thursday, Friday, and then Venus's sign. Oh no, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Yeah, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. The moon's in Libra, responding to Venus, who's in Capricorn right next to the sun. But then when the moon goes into Scorpio, the moon is responding to Mars, who's in Capricorn right next to the sun, right? So it's interesting because we're feeling very a Venusian energy, right? Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but then on Sunday we get into this very Martian energy. The moon's going to be in Scorpio, ruled by Sun Mars together. Sun Mars coming into square Chiron and Aries, a sign ruled by Mars. So there's a lot of Mars energy in the air starting on Sunday, and this could be about connecting to passion. So there's another thing about like there's something I'm having a download I'm getting around like reconnecting to our passions. Reconnecting to our desires, reclaiming our desires, reconnecting to the things that make us feel alive, that make us feel excited. I really think that's something that we should think about this weekend, especially on Sunday. Like, hey, if you've done any kind of abandonment, you've abandoned yourself, you've abandoned your desires, you've abandoned your goals, your dreams, your ambitions. Really reconnect to that. Give yourself permission, take action, reconnect to that on Sunday with the moon in Scorpio. And you may feel compelled to do so. You may feel compelled to act on something or to move towards something that you're very passionate or very excited about starting on Sunday when the moon goes into Scorpio. We're also going to be seeing a lot of love confessions this like weekend and a lot of relationship movement, a lot of relationship activity. There may be things coming to the surface. There could be some breakups or separations. There could be some secrets coming out and things like this that we got to talk about, or also feelings that we've been holding on to for a long time that we got to like release and we got to let someone know about, hey, I've been feeling this type of way, or, I've been holding on to this thing, or I've been really thinking about this and we got to talk about it. But, there's something about like, bringing things to light or like letting things out or like revealing things or like things coming to light that I'm getting with the moon in Scorpio January 11th, 12th, 13th. Okay. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, going into next week. But I also do think, and I'll talk more about it next week. But next week we are gonna have Moon trine Jupiter. So, on Monday, January 12th, which is where we pick up with our week ahead astrology of next week, the Moon is gonna trine Jupiter, and we did have that full moon in Cancer that was trining that was right next to Jupiter. So, to me, this is really giving expansive, lucky things. And the energy kind of shifts a little bit. So, once the Moon gets out of Scorpio and goes into Sag on Wednesday of next week, the energy shifts again. It's not so heavy, it's not so wounded, it's not so no, it's like the energy is going to shift and it's going to be a positive shift. I'm really excited for the new moon in Capricorn this season. I think the late degree new moon in Capricorn is going to be very positive for a lot of people. I'm really excited for the new moon. It's going to have a Sun Mercury Cazimi, so this tells me there's going to be a lot of like daily matters, a lot of like basic daily things, that are going to be like moving forward, that people are going to be starting or launching or things like this. A lot of new things coming in for people with the new moon in Capricorn, which I'm looking forward to. Okay. All right. So we're at 11:14. Let me see if there's anything else that I wanted to talk about or if there's any other aspects that I may have missed throughout the week. Sun Mars opposite Jupiter. Sun Mars opposite Jupiter, squaring Jupiter or squaring the moon on Saturday. Okay, a few more things. A few more things, and then we're gonna wrap it up. Oh, It's gonna be a shorter live today than the typical ones. Usually we'll be on here for like 2.5 hours, but I've covered most of the astrology for the week. There's not a lot going on for the week. I mean, there's a lot going on, but there's not a lot of like there's not like planet shifting or anything this week in the astrology. So we don't have any planets going from retrograde to direct or anything like that. There's no planets changing signs this week. So it's more about the Capricorn stellium in the sky, that's going to be opposing Jupiter, and it's more about this Capricorn stellium that's going to be squaring Chiron. And yeah, but what I will say is relationships are going to be a very, very strong theme this weekend, starting on Wednesday, going into the weekend, because the moon's going to be going through Libra and Scorpio. All right, responding to Venus and Mars. So yeah, there's going to be and we're in a full moon in Cancer cycle. So I even think the moon in Libra, because the moon in Libra is our waning square from our full moon. Yeah, it is. So the moon in Libra Thursday, we may see like whatever if the full moon is meant to move something in your life or activate or trigger something in your life, you're gonna probably feel it or see it Thursday, Friday, Saturday, as the moon is transiting Libra. Because the moon in Libra squares our full moon by sign. And also it's gonna be the moon square the sun and all that, right? So the moon in Libra is gonna be moon square sun, Mars, Mercury, Venus, and things like this. So but the moon in Libra is gonna be asking us like, can you forgive? Can you find peace? Can you find balance? Can you find harmony? Can you integrate things? Um, Let me do something since we've already gone through the astrology of the week. I'm gonna do something. I'm gonna pull some cards actually. Where's my tarot card at? I kind of feel like pulling. I haven't like. Where's my tarot cards? I haven't pulled cards for like the collective at all, really. I pull cards all the time for myself, but where's my tarot? Hold on, let me find my tarot deck. I'm gonna pull some cards for the collective. I'm just gotta find my deck. Oh, here it is. I forgot that I put it in a backpack because I was like pulling cards at like a coffee shop or something. What is all this in here? Oh, interesting. Interesting, interesting. So we're gonna be pulling from one of my favorite decks. This is like my new favorite deck. I highly recommend this deck. It's called the Golden Universal Tarot. This is the one I've actually been using for clients too. Those of you guys that get readings by me, you know that I usually use one deck that it's like the deck I've been using for clients for the last like 3 years, 4 years, even like 3 years. It's the Radiant. Well, no, not the Radiant. It's called uh the Art Nouveau Tarot, but it's not called Radiant. The Golden Art Nouveau Tarot. Okay. The Golden Art Nouveau Tarot is the one that I usually use or that I've been using. But I fell in love with this one, the Golden Universal Tarot. I love my cards shiny and things like this. It's my Mars and Libra. When are we doing the meet and greet? So we're gonna be doing that either this upcoming weekend. I'm gonna give you guys some deets on this. I haven't decided like where. I haven't decided what we're gonna do or where. So I was thinking about the 11th. Or if I end up staying another week, the weekend of the 17th to the 18th. But I'm thinking the 11th. Oh, that would make sense because the moon's gonna be in Scorpio that day. All my sun Mercury. All my Scorpio stellium. Like, the moon goes into Scorpio on Sunday, which is where my sun, Mercury, and Pluto are at the early degrees of Scorpio. So, that would be a great day to do it actually. Yeah. So I'm thinking the 11th. And I think we're gonna do I wanted to do like a hike. I don't know. I gotta look at the forecast though. I wanted to like meet up somewhere in LA, where we like all do like a big hike and then we like go to lunch or something. But I'll give you all more deets on that, okay? Tap into my stories. Tap into my stories. And if you're part of my subscriber chat, if you're part of my subscriber team, my team, I'm together not my subscriber peeps, my subscriber family. That's what we're gonna call it, a family. Because yeah, I'm a Capricorn, and we're gonna call it a family because I do have a Capricorn moon. You guys are my family. We're gonna do that on the 11th, okay? And I'll let you guys know. I'll let you guys know. It should be a beautiful weekend weather-wise. Okay, cool. I was thinking about going hiking in Whittier. So, I don't know if you guys know where Whittier is at, but Whittier has like a beautiful mountainous trail that goes to like a top of a mountain that overlooks all of LA. It's like really, really cool. It's really, really beautiful. And so I was thinking about doing a hike in Whittier and then going to downtown Whittier and like eating. There's a lot of really cool, delicious places in downtown. And Whittier has like, I don't know, downtown Whittier is very nostalgic. Whittier is one of the oldest cities, one of the first cities in LA, and it was actually founded by the Quakers. So Whittier has a really rich history. Oh, you look at it. Okay, this is a confirmation for me. Look at we have quite a few people here that say they live in Whittier. So yeah, I'm thinking about doing hiking in Whittier and then going to downtown Whittier and eating somewhere. Okay, we have a store where you can come and hang out. Oh, thank you. Wait, maybe I've been to your store. Are you off of the strip? Are you off like the are you like in the downtown area? When you first started your spiritual journey was in Whittier. Yeah, Whittier is a magical place. It's beautiful. It's I really love Whittier. If I were gonna like buy a house, I would love to buy a house in that area. It's called Local Collective. Oh, cool. DM me. Well, and DM me and Luna's Creation, DM me and yeah, if you have a space that we can all like meet up at and stuff like that, I would love to do that. That'd be cool. If you can give us a space or something. Because I was just thinking about meeting up at a restaurant. Would I do mini readings for people? Maybe. It's a possibility. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. Doing mini readings for people. I'll think about it. I'll think about it. All right, let's go and pull some cards. Let's see what Spirit has to tell us for this week. Oh, we have a card right there. The Justice card in reverse. Oh, the Death card. Justice card in reverse. The Death card. Okay. He's literally, you guys see these cards fall out of my hand? Like, it's like Spirit was like, oh, that one right there. Oh, that one right there. Like, it's just literally, it just fell out. All right, let's pull one more card. I like pulling cards because I'm a Jupiter person. I like pulling cards in like 3, 6, 9. So you always see that I have like a 3 card spread, a six card spread, or a 9 card spread, and then I always look at the bottom of the deck. This is like what I do. What part of LA is Whittier? So Whittier is it's East LA. Like not East LA, but it's like east of LA. So Whittier is going it's like going out towards like Riverside. No idea how I came across with you, but I'm feeling this energy. Oh, I love that. Yeah, so we got the Justice card in reverse, we got the Death card, and then I'm gonna pull one more card. And I'll explain to you what this is about, okay? East Side with Pico Rivera. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna pull one more card. Okay. This is it right here. The Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Oh, oh! I'm sorry. That was a little loud. And then the Hierophant on the bottom of the deck in reverse. This card follows me, by the way. So this is my card. This is actually a card of Saturn. This card is Saturn in what is the Seven of Pentacles? I know it's a Saturn card. Seven of Pentacles. Hold on. But this card has been coming out for me ever since I got into tarot. Like this is like a card that's really special to me. Saturn and Taurus. That's what it is. So this is Saturn and Taurus. That's what every card in tarot is ruled by a planet that's in a sign. And every card, and so this is a really cool thing. And if you study tarot, it's really important to be mindful of this because when you understand this, you'll connect the tarot to the astrology. You'll start to understand what the energy of the card is because the energy of the card is connected to a certain sign and a certain planet. Okay. So what do we have for the week? We have the Justice card in reverse, we have the Death card, and we have the Seven of Pentacles. Okay. So I'm gonna break this down for you guys. And then on the bottom of the deck, we have the Hierophant in reverse. So to me, this is about. releasing things or transforming or changing things or evolving things to bring our life back into balance. The Justice card is telling me that our lives are unbalanced in certain ways because we're giving too much energy to this thing and not enough energy to this thing. Or even certain things in our life are energetically taxing us. Like, so it's like that relationship is extra burdensome. That job is taking up 12 hours of your life every day. Like, you're working overtime and whatever. It's like, oh, you're spending too much time at the gym. You have no social life, right? You're working too much. You're not having enough fun. You're not letting any time for play. So what the Justice card is telling, or what the Justice card in reverse is telling me is like, we need to bring things back into balance by kind of purging things or transforming things or changing things or evolving things, which is where the death card comes in. Okay. Also, this is about injustice and unfairness, and this is also about betrayal. So, people that have wronged us, there's something about needing to let go of this pain or woundedness that we have around those that have betrayed us or hurt us or wronged us. So it's like we're holding on to like resentment, we're holding on to some kind of pain, we're holding on to anger, we're holding on to these unhealthy experiences or these toxic experiences that we've had with people of the past, and we got to transmute that shit and let that shit go. Because what it's doing, it's blocking us holding on to that resentment, holding on to the experience of betrayal, holding on to the anger that you had towards that person because they weren't there for you, they showed up for you, they lied to you, they deceived you, whatever. It's blocking you. If you're holding on to something, you can't pick up anything new. So the message here for this week with the Libra card in reverse, the Justice card in reverse, and the Death card, which is the card of Scorpio, it's funny because we're gonna have the moon going through Libra and Scorpio starting Wednesday. The moon's gonna go into Libra, and then starting on Saturday, the moon goes into Scorpio. So we have the Libra and the Scorpio card coming out. This is about like letting the shit go for the relationships of the past, so you can call in new connections, new relationships, new partnerships, and things like this. Also, some of you just got to be honest and truthful with yourself around the fact that whatever this thing is that you've been investing time and energy into, whatever you've been pursuing, whoever you've been pursuing, whatever, it's like it's not, you're like bored and you're like you don't even want it anymore and you're like where the fuck is this going and you're like questioning it and you're like kind of being you're like there's a little bit of this like energy of like hesitance and feeling unsure about the progress of things or about things in the future, things moving forward. And you need to kind of like take a step back and like reassess and be like, wait a minute, is this really what I want? Is this really how I imagine the relationship unfolding? Do I really see this person or this thing in my future? Is this really like in alignment with my goals, with my values, with my dreams, with my desires? And if it's not, you got to kind of start to plan. Seven of Pentacles. You got to start to plan like the shift or plan your exit strategy or plan like the new thing or whatever because it kind of feels like we're just kind of like for some of us this is what it feels like. The Seven of Pentacles is giving me like we're just accepting things and we're just like oh because it's comfortable, because it's secure, because it's familiar, we're just kind of like going with the flow because it's like there, but it's not really what we want, it's not really what we desire, it's not really what we're going for, it's not really what we're passionate about or we're excited about. So there's this energy of needing to reassess where we're investing our time and our energy and our resources and like needing to pivot in some type of way, okay? And things like that. Because there's like a boredom. I don't know. The Seven of Pentacles to me is a card of like boredom. It's like a very bored card. And it's like a card of like things are growing, but it's like we're not really seeing things move quite yet, right? The Seven of Pentacles is also a time, Saturn and Taurus. It's a card of patience and endurance. And it's a card of letting things grow, right? So the Seven of Pentacles goes to the Eight of Pentacles, goes to the Nine of Pentacles. So I don't know if you guys noticed, if you have ever noticed these cards, the seven, eight, and nine. Every card, every sequence of three in the tarot is like a story. So the one, two, and three of Pentacles, they all have their story. The four, five, and six of Pentacles are also their little unit. They all have a story. So one of the things you'll notice about the four, five, and six of Pentacles is, you know, they're more relational. They're more about relationship and connection in resources and money with the four, five, and six. Um, where the seven, eight, and nine is more about like career direction. It's more about growth. It's more about the direction of our abundance or the direction of our relationship with the material world, right? The Eight of Pentacles is about, so the Seven of Pentacles is about investment, Eight of Pentacles is about hard work, and the Nine of Pentacles is about abundance. It's literally about, it's it completes that series. It's like, Seven of Pentacles, you invested, you put in the time. Eight of Pentacles, you work hard, you perfect your craft. Nine of Pentacles, you get the to reap the rewards, right? You get all the grapes on the bush. So the Nine of Pentacles is a woman. She's all dressed really nice. She has a falcon on her arm, right? And she has all this, but she has like this beautiful abundant bush that has, grapes and everything growing on it because it's a card of abundance, but it's also a card of completion. So, but with the Seven of Pentacles coming out here in connection with the Death card, in connection with the Justice card in reverse, this is about the investment of time and things that have not given back to us, that are not panning out. So this can be like you've had this friendship for like 15, 20 years, right? And like it's just gone awry and it's gone sour and you want to hold on to it because you've invested so much time into it. But it's like, no, actually, no, we've grown apart. Like the direction of life is telling us that unless this friendship evolves, like it needs to go or it needs to die and be reborn in some type of way. Because, and I think that's what, the only upright card, the death card is telling us is like, there's certain things that like need to die and be reborn. Because they can't continue the way they've been. That friendship, that relationship, that work experience, that whatever, it's like it can't continue going the way that it's been. It has to evolve in some type of way. And maybe that evolution does look like things need to go through some kind of death or rebirth or need to go through some kind of ending in order for there to be some kind of new beginning. So I really want you guys to lean into that this week because this is, I don't know, this is definitely giving in the realm of relationships. This is definitely giving relationship energy, okay? Also, the other thing, another message I have coming through is just we got to really hold true to our values. And when things are not in alignment with our desires or with our values, we got to be assertive in taking action to like move away from those things or clear those things out or to even like test those things to see if they're able to align with our values. If it's not aligned, if it's not aligned with our passions, if it's not aligned with our values, with our ethics, with our morals, if it's not aligned with our beliefs, okay? Like, can we find that middle ground and compromise? Justice card? Or, okay, or do we need to just move away from it, and accept that, hey, you know what? This thing is not for me. This person's not for me. This connection's not for me. This job is not for me. This pathway is not for me because it's not really what I want and it doesn't really align with who I am. And it doesn't really honor me or value me or appreciate me or it doesn't live up to my standards. You know what I mean? Kind of feel, yeah. And also, this feels like a breaking. I mean, the Justice card in reverse and the Death card, this is about if when this comes up in a reading for someone, like this is about endings of relationships. This is about also interesting. Oh, the other message I have coming through here is like this is about legal matters. This is about also taking someone to court or taking an entity, something or somebody to court to get back what you're owed. Because this is about needing to rebalance the scales. This is about needing to like get back what you're owed. Like they owe you money, like they owe you something. I don't know. And like also karmic rebalancing, like of scales and things like this. Thank you, my love. I appreciate it. She said she complimented me on my haircut. I appreciate it. He did a good job. I really needed it. My hair was getting crazy. But yeah, there's something about the Justice card in reverse and the Death card and the Seven of Pentacles about needing to take someone to court, needing to hold someone accountable, needing to, reclaim whatever was taken from you or something like this. Or even that being a possibility. That could be something that someone experiences this week. It's like you get back what you're owed, or you get back what you're paid for. Or what you get back what you're owed, you get back what you paid for that, what maybe it wasn't maybe the services that you paid for, maybe the item that you paid for wasn't actually what it said it was, or maybe it wasn't didn't have wasn't like made properly, or maybe the service wasn't done correctly. And so it's like you're like, oh no, I need to talk to somebody. I need to get this fixed. I need to get this cleared up. I'm really, really seeing that in the sky right now. Or I'm really seeing that not in the sky, but in the cards. In the cards, yeah. Also, I just want to remind you guys because I pulled a few more cards and I have the Hierophant in reverse and I have the Judgment card in reverse. I really want you guys to understand that this is a period of kind of like, you know, our foundations are shifting and changing. And like there's things that are like ending and exiting. And we gotta just like Nine of Wands, look at the tower, the devil card reverse. Like it's like there's things that are just like exiting and ending. And we just gotta lean into this, okay? Because um we love hold as human beings, we love security, we love to hold on to things. We want things to be the same, but that's just not the truth. That's not the way life is. That's not the reality. That's not the way this reality was designed, right? Everything in this reality dies. Unfortunately, it's the truth. Everything. It doesn't matter what it is. It's gonna die. Okay. If it lived, it will die. Okay. Like that's just the truth. That's like welcome to Earth. Okay. Like so and like that process of death though, we don't really know. We don't have a good relationship with death. Like spiritually, emotionally, mentally, culturally, society wise we have like human beings, the majority of human beings, and even like, religious practices, stuff, whatever, they haven't really, we haven't really cultivated an understanding, a spiritual understanding of death and like endings. And we don't know how to do it. We're really bad at endings. We're really bad at death. We're really bad at letting go. And this is what the universe has been teaching us for the last 5 years. This is what we've been all been having to learn. We've all been having to learn how to transform and change. We've all been learning how to grieve. We've all been learning how to accept things that end and come to a close. And we've been learning it on many fronts. And it's been like a forced lesson on us, right? And it's been sad. It's been challenging. So I just want you guys to be mindful of this energy, okay, in the sky this week, but it's like here. It's like around, okay? It's our fear of the unknown. Yeah, it's definitely our fear of the unknown, but it's also our attachment to life, right? We're so attached to life that we are afraid or that we are scared of death. It's so interesting. I was walking yesterday and I was on Threads and this astrologer was commenting on like people like other astrologers doing like fear-based astrology or like, you know, saying like scary things or making scary predictions or like whatever, right? But astrology has an explanation for that because Saturn is a planet of fear. Therefore, there's always going to be an element of life. There's always going to be an element of our lived experience. There's always going to be an element of astrology that's scary. Life is scary. Fear is a human experience, is a human emotion. We all go through it. We all are scared of something. Because why? We are in Saturn's realm. Fear is an inherent part of our lived experience. There's no moving away from it. We could conquer it. We can overcome our fears, right? Because that's what we're here to do. The whole purpose of fear is to make us aware of our limitations as humans, okay? But also to challenge us. Fear is Saturn's challenge to us. Are you going to challenge Saturn by overcoming your fear and by not succumbing to your fears, right? And where fear shows up in so many different ways. There are people that are afraid of this, of small things. There are people that are afraid of dogs. There's people that are afraid of glass. There's people that are afraid of water. There's people that are afraid of fear shows up differently for everybody. And sometimes it's really silly. Most of the time, fear is really silly because we're afraid of things that are not even real. So when I was reading that post that the astrologer said about fear-based astrology, I was like, well, duh. Yeah, astrology is scary, especially when you start to understand Saturn and the role that he plays in our lived experience, and Saturn being the planet of fear. And what do you make your fear mean? Yeah. Exactly. What is your fear? What is the meaning behind your fear? And where is the root of your fears, right? And why are you scared of those things that you're afraid of? And like we're afraid of, sharing our creativity. We're afraid of being our own business owner. We're afraid of falling in love. We're afraid of having a child. We're afraid of meat, right? We're vegetarian vegan. We're afraid of meat, right? Like there's like we have fear shows up differently for everybody, right? But usually it's the test. This is one of the things I always say. You guys have heard me say this multiple times. Fear is usually the way forward. Fear is usually the door to your abundance, to the other side, to what you got to get past and grow through. Because once you overcome your fear, once you challenge Saturn, he's like, okay, I see you now. I see you, little human being. I see you. Oh, you have that courage and that bravery. You have that gusto to overcome that fear. Well, now I'm gonna go ahead and reward you. Now I'm gonna go ahead and gift you this. Now I'm gonna go ahead and bless you, right? We're afraid of relationships until we commit and we fall in love, and then all of a sudden we're like, oh my God, that wasn't so scary. You know what I mean? We're afraid of being our own business owner until we start our own business and then we're successful and we're abundant. We're like, oh my God, wow, what was I afraid of? Karmic fears, fears that run deep in the soul. Also, a lot of times, this is one of the things I tell people during readings, a lot of your fear comes from past lives. You have no reason why you're afraid of that thing in this lifetime. Well, it's because of past life experience. It's because of past life traumas, because of things that you've gone through in past lives. And you're not aware of it in this lifetime, but still that fear is so strong within your spirit, within your soul, that it still holds power over you. It still holds power over you, you know? So when we're talking about fear mongering in astrology, well, yeah, astrology is scary. It is when you can see everything. Okay, awareness is scary. Wisdom is scary. Knowledge is scary. The other side of the veil, yeah, these are things that are unseen and unknown. These are occult things. Yes, they are scary. They're meant to be. They're supposed to be. They live beyond our human understanding. We can't make sense of it. That's scary. Yes, it is. Okay? This is when we start talking about the Old Testament. What does the Old Testament talk about? I don't want Preacher Louis to come out, but the fear of God. The fear of God, right? We're so confused by that. People are like, why is the Old Testament telling us to be afraid of God, to fear God? Like, what is that about? Baby, that's Saturn. That, right? The Bible is connected to Jewish folk. Jewish folk have been worshiping Saturn since the beginning of time. They wear black hats, okay, with a ring on it. And the Bible is a Jewish text, especially the Old Testament. It's a Jewish text. So the Bible, the Old Testament is based on Saturn. That's all Saturn. Jesus is Jupiter. The New Testament is Jupiter. Okay? But the Old Testament is all Saturn. Okay? And so when we're talking about fear, we're talking, yes, God wants us to fear him in some way or them in some way. That's why Saturn exists. Because we're right, we're afraid of higher authorities. We're afraid of, like the things that we don't have control over. Yeah, those things are scary. They should be. It's part of our lived experience. We're here to experience fear. You got to understand on the other side of the veil, when we are disembodied, we're not incarnate in a meat bodysuit. We don't have fear. We don't get to experience fear. We don't even know what the emotion of fear feels like. All we feel is love. Hey, come here right now. Come here right now. Thank you. Come in here. You too. Where are you? Come in here. Oh, hey, hey, come here. Come inside. Come inside. Okay, you want to go outside? Go regulate. Yeah, Gilbert's gonna go regulate on me. Sorry, she was barking. I wanted to stop her from barking. You see what I'm saying? So yeah, like I think it's. Oh, are you kidding me? Hold on, give me a second. Hey, stop barking. Come on, go inside. Come here, you too. Come here, little booger. Come on, Kobe. Where you at? Stop barking. Thank you. You guys hear them barking? They're like barking so. Incarnate, yeah, incarnated. That's what it means. Incarnated means literally in the meat, in the body. Like we're in a meat suit, incarnated. We don't experience fear. So then when we come here as human beings, when we are born into these meat body suits, right? Like we get to experience all the emotions that we study on the other side of the veil. You see what I'm saying? So we get to experience fear, we get to experience love, we get to experience hatred, we get to experience anger. These are not emotions that we get to experience on the other side of the veil. We don't experience them physically, right? And emotions are in a physical experience. This is why when you feel scared, when you feel afraid, when you feel love, your body has a reaction to all those emotions. When you feel in love, oh my God, your heart, is all fluttering. You feel the little butterflies, you feel all warm, and you get the little goosebumps. And when you're afraid, oh my God, your hairs stand up and you're right. Like you have a physical response to your emotions. So how can your emotions not impact your body? When you feel them, you actually in real time are physically experiencing your emotions, right? We don't get that on the other side of the veil. So we are here to experience fear, right? But we're also here to overcome it. Saturn and fear is all about limitation. It's actually a protective mechanism. Fear is here to protect us. If you weren't afraid of getting hit by a car, then you'd just be walking around in the street and getting hit by cars. People would just be getting hit by cars every day. Fear has a protective mechanism, right? The basic element of fear is actually here to protect us. Because if we're afraid of X, Y, and Z, we're not going to take unnecessary risk to put ourselves in danger, right? But see, the problem is we internalize our fears and then we project fear onto things that are irrational. So it's like, oh, we're irrationally afraid of, a flower. We're irrationally afraid of a spider. We're irrationally afraid of things, right? Taking the stage. We're irrationally afraid of money. We're irrationally afraid of success. See, what happens is we turn the biological protective mechanism of fear and we expand it and we turn it into these bigger fears that are limiting to our own lived experience or to our own goals, dreams, ambitions, our own becoming, right? And the things that we really deeply want. I really do think that the things that we deeply want are the things that we're also deeply afraid of. I really feel this for many of us. Like we really want love, but then we're also afraid of it. We really want success, but we're also afraid of it. It's really interesting because this relationship between desire and fear is also something that's very, very interesting. And I think it's that relationship between Mars and Saturn, actually, and how Mars and Saturn they square each other by sign. So Capricorn squares Aries, right? And Scorpio squares Aquarius. They square each other. Saturn and Mars, they're at odds with each other, right? So yeah, that's so interesting how fear and desire relate to each other. That's something I'm going to think about more. I sit around thinking about things all day, by the way, in case you guys didn't know. I have Sun, Mercury, I have Sun in Scorpio, conjunct Mercury, retrograde in Scorpio, conjunct Pluto. So I sit and ponder and think very deeply about things. Another thing I was going to post yesterday, but I didn't because I didn't have the right video to like post it with, is you guys, a lot of people think I'm very social, but I'm actually not. I'm very antisocial. I love spending alone time. I love like my alone time. It's because all my social planets are either afflicted or in detriment. So the social planets, and this is for you, you can do this, and then we'll wrap up here because I think I'm done with the tarot message. I think I said what I need to say. This is for those of you, okay, that you want to understand like why am I either social or not social? The social planets are Mercury, Moon, and Venus. And you can look to the quality of your moon, Mercury, and Venus to determine whether you or someone else is going to be very social or very outgoing or very open and very like vulnerable or not. Right? When people have Sun, Venus, Mercury in water signs, retrograde or in detriment, well, the moon can't be in detriment. Oh, yeah, it can. All the planets can. Yeah, all those planets. Sun, Mercury, and Venus can all be in detriment. If they're afflicted in some type of way, they're being aspected harshly by Saturn, or they're being burnt out by the sun, like too close to the sun. Like me, I have Sun, Mercury together. I have Mercury burnt out by the rays of the sun. I have Mercury combust because it's within a degree. Um, they're going to not be social, and they're only going to like more private, deep, one-on-one relationships, not so much like out in the world meeting different people and things like this. When you have Moon, Mercury, Venus in fire signs and air signs, by far the most social. Earth signs, well, the earth and water signs are more like private. They're more like, they're not as like outgoing and social and stuff like that. But you can have a Taur, like for instance, you have Tauruses. Yeah, well, the Venus in Aries is a very social Venus, but it's in detriment. Moon and Cap, I have the same, very antisocial. Moon, Mercury in Pisces, very antisocial. Mercury's in fall in Pisces, Moon's in Capricorn is in detriment, and Venus in Aries is in detriment, right? She's weak there because that's where she's in her detriment. So she's opposite of the sign of her rulership. Yeah, Venus and Mercury in the 12th house, ruled by an eighth house moon. Yeah, yeah, you're not trying to go outside and meet people. You're not trying to socialize. Jersey is not trying to get to know people and meet people. He's trying to keep by himself. Yeah, look at Scorpio moon, Venus and Pisces, Mercury and Capricorn. Yep, very antisocial. Yeah. And it's like people, it's so funny because especially when you got like the combination of the Capricorn and the Scorpio energy, people like irritate you. Like people are like, ugh, people are like, ugh. I just get very like when I'm with people after a certain amount of time, you're just kind of like, oh, I just need to like go home. Like, this was fun while it lasted, you know? I get, you know what it is? People drain me. When you have these planets, you have when your social planets are afflicted, you also get exhausted and tired by like you get socially drained. Oh, Leo ascendant helps with being outgoing. Yeah, Leo rising is a very, very outgoing sign. Yeah, Leo rising. Leo rising is very social. All the fire sign risings are very social because they have air signs ruling all of their social houses. So Leo rising has Gemini in the 11th, right? So they have like tons of friends. They're always out in the town. They're always like going out and doing shit. Leo rising. They also have Libra in the third house. So, um, yeah, yeah. They have Libra in the third house, so they tend to love connecting and communicating. Also, Leos really are relationship oriented. Really, Leo of the fire signs, I think Leo is the most relationship oriented. My Sag moon in the 11th house, you would think I'm social, but I'm not. And my Venus is in Virgo, so that's afflicted. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also, where's the ruler of your Jupiter, right? So even though I have an 11th house moon too, but it's in Capricorn. So like I'm social out of obligation. I'm social because I have to be. What happens when you need so much alone time and then you're in a relationship? You got to know how to give yourself alone time, even when if you're in a relationship, you know? And I've had to tell this to many clients. I've had clients who like especially 12th house people. Like 12th house people, they feel so guilty and bad for alone time and they feel guilty for everything. Like 12th house, 6th house people, they always feel bad and guilty for shit that they shouldn't be feel bad and guilty about. Like they live in their own delusional world where they're responsible for everyone else's problems and issues and where they make everything their fault and they're like, oh yeah, someone went through that, and they're like, oh, I wish I should have done something. No, you couldn't have done something. Like, no, just stop taking everything personal. Stop making everything about you. Not everything is your fault, okay? Not you don't have to feel guilty or shame for shit that has nothing to do with you. Like, come on. Anyways, they tend to feel guilty for needing alone time. So, that access of the 6 and the 12, also Pisces, Virgo, they do need a lot of alone time and they even need alone time out of their relationship and they can feel very guilty for telling their partner like wait a minute I need like a few days to myself. Ugh, leave me alone like I need to go like be in a cabin in the woods by myself and they can just feel so like burnt out or so exhausted even in partnership or with their partner with their relationship because it's because the 12th house and the 6th being mirroring the 12th is these are houses of isolation. These are houses of, you know, getting to know thyself and you see who you are outside of anyone else's or society's influence or relationship influence or whatever. So, the like 12th house, 8th house, 4th house people, 12th house, 6th house people, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio people. Um, they need that alone time to not only re-energize but to also get clear at themselves, to know themselves, to see what it is that they want, right? Because these houses are also incredibly sensitive and they can get very confused with other people's energy. Being around too many people, they take on other people's energy and they like these houses lack boundaries as well, by the way, right? The 6th and the 12th lack boundaries. The 8th house lacks boundaries with people. And it lacks psychic boundaries, emotional boundaries, financial boundaries, mental boundaries. So sometimes when there's too much contact, when these people are not getting enough alone time, there's too much connection, too much contact with others in their life, they get pulled into other people's lives and they forget who they are. They get disconnected from themselves. They get confused. They no longer know who they are or what they want because they lose themselves into others. This is why they need alone time, right? So that they don't get lost in the lives of others. You know what I mean? It's very easy. Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, 4, 8, 12 houses, 4, 8, 12 people, six house people. It's very easy for them to get lost and pulled into other people's life to where they totally abandon themselves. And they all of a sudden they have no alone time. All of a sudden they're in a codependent situation. All of a sudden they're confused. They don't know who they are because of this other influence, right? This external influence that they just have no boundaries with, that they're so overly involved with, you know? Someone said so true. Someone said, "Oh yeah, 12 house, yeah, 12 house sun, but a first house moon. Yeah, that's gonna change things for you. You always feel like it's your fault. Yeah. So this is why, like, with those with that like that 12 house energy, like 12 6 8 4 energy, like if you are one of those people, you need alone time to get clear with who you are with other people and to also like energetically separate yourself from others so you don't get confused, so you don't get pulled into codependent situations, so you don't lose yourself into others. You see what I'm saying? You gotta, there has to be a little slice of the pie for you. You gotta have your, and you need like a sanctuary. I always tell this to people, like you need your own sanctuary. You need your own room. You need like a space. You need your own, you need a place, a space, time, whatever that is your own sanctuary. That is all you, only you. Okay? Because in that space, you're gonna be able to get clear with what is yours and what is not yours. You're also going to be able to like rest and recuperate and regenerate because those houses are very exhausting energetically as well. And people that have those placements there, they get drained very quickly. And so they need that alone time to also regenerate their energy and recuperate their energy. Lose yourself in relationships. Yes, yes, yes. Someone said, yep, look at, we got a whole bunch of yeses in the chat. Aquarius placements. Yeah, because they're Saturn. It's really funny. Aquarius and Capricorn, because they're Saturn people, they like Saturn likes to be alone. I'm a Capricorn moon and I love my alone time. You feel like heavy Libra placements are like that. Oh yeah, yeah, like losing yourself in relationships. Oh yeah, Libras, yeah, do that all the time. Seventh house people do that all the time too. When people have a strong seventh house focus, like a seventh house stellium, they will meet a partner and totally get absorbed into the other person's life, and that partner, they will like literally start to revolve around their partner, around their spouse. They'll like become a planet, and they'll get pulled into like their partner's orbit. And all of a sudden, like the relationship is their life, and that's like their new identity. Yeah, it's like a seventh house thing. Libra thing, seventh house thing. Yep. Okay, my loves, it's 12 o'clock. We're at 2 hours. It's 12 o'clock. We're at 2 hours. I'm gonna go get myself some lunch. I love you all so much. It was a pleasure spending this time with you today. Thank you guys for being here. Everyone that hung out with me. Happy New Year. Merry Christmas. If I didn't tell you Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. Happy New Year, Merry Christmas. We're in 2026. Um, full moon and Cancer cycle. Make sure you're nurturing yourself and taking care of yourself. Um, don't take things too personal. Learn how to forgive and forget. Okay, learn how to let shit go. Don't hold on to things that are not for you. Embrace the healing journey. Give yourself permission to get pissed off and go off if you need to, and love yourself. Love yourself. Okay, that's that's my instruction for you. Love yourself. Love thyself. Because you cannot love anybody else unless you love yourself. Can I get an amen? And you can't love other people properly. Okay? You can't love other people properly unless you love yourself. It's the truth. So I will give you guys an update. I'll give you guys an update around what we're going to be doing this upcoming weekend. It's going to be on Sunday, the 11th. I'm thinking about a hike in Whittier and then going to downtown Whittier and eating something. So look out my stories for that. Okay, I'll give you guys the address, I'll give you guys the meeting place and all of that. And if you're in the LA area, if you guys didn't come to the last event that we had last year, was that last year? Yeah, around in July. It was so fun, and there was a lot of you that wanted to go, but you weren't able to. So if you want to meet me, you want to like, meet some other really cool people that are also into like astrology and tarot and you should definitely come because you can be like make some friends. There's people that have actually met that day that hang out like regularly and they're like friends now. So, come and hang out and, meet me in person and all of that. I don't know if I'll be doing readings that day, but I'll think about it. I'll think about it. I post all my lives. So all my lives are posted. Every live that I do gets posted. So you can go on my page and you should be able to see every live that I post. Also, I post all my lives on YouTube. So if you don't like the Instagram platform or watching long form content on Instagram, you can always go on my YouTube and you can subscribe and follow and like, and you can also tap into my stuff there and listen in there. Okay. All right, beautiful people. Have a wonderful day. I love you all so much. You guys are amazing and beautiful and wonderful, and I'm really excited to hang out with you guys this upcoming weekend. So I'll see you guys around. It keeps pausing or kicks me off your live. That's so weird. What you might want to do is reinstall Instagram. Maybe that'll help. Maybe reinstalling Instagram will help. I'm just reading an email that was sent to me. Interesting. Someone wants me to do an event. They're asking if I can do like an event, like be a reader at an event. Interesting. I've done that maybe like once or I think I've done that like two times. I've been like a reader at an event. Um, hmm, we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I'll think about it. We'll see. All right, my loves. Have a good day, okay? I'll see you around. Bye.